Here we are again with Dr. Wang, and this is the second session that we're going to. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
And what we'd like to do is again understand the difference between Western medicine and traditional Chinese medicine, the metaphysics, the whole idea of that. We're trying to understand, and if you would help us with that, reviewing what we talked about last time and continuing on from there.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Julia and Vina. So last time we talking about do some introduction of the traditional Chinese medicine and Western medicine, and their theoretical basic that are different. In that section, we talking about that the body system actually consists two parts. One is the physics part. That is the part Western medicine try to study. Another part that is behind the physics part, that the driving force. That part is that driving force. Actually, that driving force is a thermodynamic system that's studied by traditional Chinese medicine. But what is different between these two parts? Today we will going to discussion that a little bit deeper, that kind of condition. Last time we mentioned that between them they have a very important that kind of difference, that is negative entropy. The negative entropy, that's essential point for the traditional Chinese medicine. So we need to understand what is negative entropy. That for the history, the theoretical history for negative entropy, I consider have 4 landmark development. The first one is Boltzmann. Boltzmann, many people may forget him, but for the present negative entropy, we need to mention him. He's a great man. He consider the entropy actually is some kind of system, that very important feature of the system, and consider that this relate with the statistic situation. So he's the founder of the statistic thermodynamics. He create the so-called statistic thermodynamics, and consider that entropy actually is the assessment of the inside the system, that kind of disorder situation. So in his theory, that because the entropy is implied disorder, actually on the opposite, the negative entropy may consider the order. So he implied that, but did not mention that. For the entropy and negative entropy, that's pretty difficult to understand, because what we try to in the world, all of the knowledge we come from our sense, from what we see, what we hear, and what we touch, all of the kind of so-called physics evidence. But the entropy and negative entropy is we cannot see that, we cannot hear that. It's only from your mind, and have that kind of high intellectual power, and then understand that. That's difficult, because that's so difficult even for the very smart people in his time, Boltzmann's time. Last time I already mentioned that the famous science, Mach, M-A-C-H, who is very famous, very powerful. Until now, the airplane we use his name as as the power unit. He's very powerful, and he against Boltzmann the kind of statistic condition, negative entropy, that kind of concept. And they have a big fight, and finally, because Mach is so powerful, and then the Boltzmann get loose and then get into that kind of very unfortunate situation. Boltzmann feel really sad about that and commit suicide that in 1906. Only about in his 50s, still young scholar. So that is very bad story. So that also implies entropy, naked entropy. It's very difficult to understand. Even Marx, that kind of first level of the scientists, still not so understand that kind of situation. So that's we need to pay more attention for entropy and naked entropy. How to keep that in mind, and as the being in the world, how to understand that is very important. So he introduced that entropy, use entropy to assess the disorder of the system. Consider the order of the disorder, and disorder. The degree of the disorder also is primary, that the parameter of any system. That's very important. The second one, the landmark for the naked entropy is Schrödinger. Schrödinger, everyone knows that Schrödinger is the very famous scientist, and he is the founder of the quantum theory, and with the Heisenberg, and get the Nobel Prize in 1930, something like that. He have another contribution that is the kind of very small book, What is the Life, in 1940, something 45 or anything like that. And he say he considered that we need to put we need to have a so-called naked entropy. That's the opposite of the entropy. And consider naked entropy is a very important concept for the life. For the non-life system, there's no naked entropy. That they have that kind of maximum disorder. But for the life system, they have a naked entropy. They have order. So for the life system, we need to put the naked entropy into account. That concept is very important. But that kind of concept, in the scientific world, in the academic community, still not yet so recognized. Is significant. Many people, that is another concept in the physics, something like that. But that is the kind of revolution concept for the study. That indicate if we use the knowledge for study the non-life system, for instance, right now we use the knowledge from the physics, from chemistry, from all of the things, from non-life system, cannot explain the life system. So need to put the naked entropy into account. That point is very important. That draws a clear line that's between life system and non-life system. That also implies right now, until now, that the Western world, in the scientific world, until now, still not yet put into the account for the research work. That is so unfortunate. So that is what we need to put into account. When I read his book, his Chinese version in 1973, I just feel very surprised and very exciting about that. I try to say, well, in my life, I try to put that into account, because what I study in the medical school is no concept of naked entropy. But the life system, from his concept, is have the high naked entropy. How to put this one into the life system? I make my determination, say, in my life, I try to put that into account. So that is the second landmark for the entropy and naked entropy. The third landmark, over here, we mentioned that the light system and the non-light system, they have negative entropy and no negative entropy. But where the negative entropy come from, still not so clear. But Poggen's non-equilibrium thermodynamics that create the kind of approach for that. Poggen is a Nobel Prize winner, and in 1976 for his book in 1940 he considered in the open the thermodynamic system with some kind of inflow of the negative entropy, and the system can motivate inside some element and then create the negative entropy, and the system become no negative entropy and then become a negative entropy. That also very important, because that implies we can have a bridge between life and non-life. Before, always consider is non-life and life is no bridge. That is the life only created by the life. So that is the microbiology that mentioned that if no life, we cannot create the life. But with the Poggen, from Poggen's the failure that indicate in the suitable condition and also in some kind of history period, from non-life can create from non-life can create the life. That's very important. But actually, his concept still basic on the Newtonian that kind of concept, the rational concept, scientific concept. It cannot motivate the inside the kind of parallel, that inside branch coupling, all of the kind of very rich inborn factor to support his theory. So his theory only can build a bridge, but it cannot build a life system, because with his resource and ability, it seems to be unable to build that very high negative entropy, that kind of system. Additional, that how to present that high negative entropy, that system, his theory seems to be unable to present that. Only his system only present that kind of very thin negative entropy system. So that still belong to the Newtonian system.